Well, joining us today is Dave Hansen, the MLA for Bonnyville, Cold Lake, St. Paul. Dave, I know when we last spoke, there was an official agreement with ID 349 with the funds. So give us an update on that and also a synopsis of ID 349 for those that aren't familiar with it.
Okay, well, the ID 349 deal that was signed by the four municipalities involved the City of Cold Lake, the MD of Bonnyville, Town of Bonnyville, and Town of Glendon. Pretty historical to have them all come to an agreement. They came up with a formula that would work for all of them to distribute the funding. The control of the ID 349 funding was handed over from the province to the MD of Bonnyville for future. So I think it's really good. I've heard nothing but positive from all the communities involved in that decision. And then just this last week, we also announced a total of $3.5 million going to each of the two Metis settlements in the area, which is, I think, fantastic. It's a good opportunity for those communities to work on some much needed infrastructure projects, put some people to work in the area. And I don't see any community in Alberta that would think that getting $3.5 million is a bad deal.
You mentioned the money going towards Lakeland Metis settlements. Talk about the process and that and how you got to the point of agreement.
Well, that was a lot of hard work between Minister Allard and Minister Wilson. They worked together. I know when I first approached Minister Allard when she was first appointed Minister of Municipal Affairs, one of the things I said, we need to get this deal together. We had already been working with the four municipalities. They had come to that agreement. So presenting that to her that it was important to get that across the line, but also to make sure that we had done something to provide some funding to the Métis settlements. Every community, like I said, in Alberta is struggling with infrastructure deficits right now, and the settlements are no different. So I thought it was very important that she worked together with Minister Wilson, and I was very happy to see them come up with this plan.
Now, with all these agreements in place, is this a win long-term for both sides as well as the entire Lakeland community?
Yeah, it is. It gives some long-term stability. And I'll tell you, the ID 349 issue, ever since it was brought forward, was very contentious it just caused division between my communities up there. So it's really nice to see them all working together now toward a common goal. It's going to be a benefit to the entire region and everybody that lives there, and including the Métis settlements as well. So, like I say, the idea that Elizabeth and Fishing Lake would get $3.5 million to put into some much-needed infrastructure is quite important.
Where would the $3.5 million be spent in those Lakeland Métis settlements?
Well, there are some possibility projects. I know that we've had some discussion at Elizabeth. They've got a plan in place, or that's been worked on for a few years, regarding a regional landfill. I think that would be a great way to put that money forward to that. I'm not going to tell them how to spend their money, but I think it would be looking for a long-term goal and some long-term stability for the community would be a great idea, and I think it would be supported by the neighboring municipalities as well. So, but again, if you go out to the settlements, they're no different than any other small town in Alberta. They've got water and sewer problems, roadway problems, housing, all that stuff. So it's I think the toughest decision for those settlement leaders is going to be picking which projects to put the money toward.
Well, Dave, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us.